Welcome everyone to Over 40 Living Epic Lives Facebook group. Thank you so much for being here today. We really appreciate you being here. And if you will, as we are kicking this off, if you will, let us know where you're coming in from. So go right there to the chat and let us know where you're coming in from. We have people watching from all over the United States and internationally, and we love it when you guys are interacting with us over here. Now, before we get started, I have some slides to show you. I'm going to introduce you to our amazing guest. You're going to love what she has to say today. So again, welcome everyone to Over 40 Living Epic Lives with myself, Cheryl Broughton. And today we have a special guest, Michele Garber. She's the founder of the NipTuck Coach, and she is a leader in consumer plastic surgery safety and patient advocacy, and she's the host of the NipTuck Talk Show. And so this is our summer series that we're doing here today, and we're getting towards the end. We've got just a few more speakers to go before we end our summer series. And each and every one of them are amazing authors, speakers, leaders, and so forth in their industries. Each of them have been featured in media, TV, and so on. And they all are sharing with us every one of their challenge, not every one of their challenges, but each and every one of them is sharing a challenge that they've overcome that led them to the career that they have today. So for those of you that are new to me, I'll take a moment to say hello. My name is Cheryl. I'm an author, speaker, mindset coach, and aerialist, and I'm 53 years young. I have been a producer and host of a mind and body fitness TV show, founder of a 7-time award-winning boot camp, and founder of a wellness company. Throughout my life, I have endured everything from mental and physical abuse to being diagnosed with advanced arthritis, losing my career and long-term boyfriend, and more. Starting over in my 50s was one of the most unexpected challenges I've ever endured. And ironically, it has proven to be the best thing to ever happen to me. I specialize in helping women and entrepreneurs over 40 discover where their blocks are, how to rewrite their story, and create the life of their dreams. The methodologies I teach are the very techniques I used to transform my life from feeling like my best years and days were over to finding my light, writing a book, starting 2 new businesses, and attracting the man of my dreams and more. Now, why am I telling you this? It's because it's never too late to have your epic encore. So speaking of epic encores, that's what this group is all about. It's called Over 40 Living Epic Lives. And if you know someone who you think would benefit by being in this group, please take a moment to invite them today. So today, our special guest is Michele Garber. She is the founder of the NipTuck Coach and the leader in consumer plastic surgery safety and patient advocacy. For over 20 years, Ms. Garber has worked closely advising plastic surgeons and patients about cosmetic surgery procedures, treatments, and skincare. She's been featured in Big Medicine Magazine, Women Business Times, Med Aesthetics, SF Gate, Vice, Fox, ABC, KGO Radio, Your California Life, Authority Magazine, and the list just goes on and on and on. So obviously, this woman has been in the industry for a very long time, and she knows what she's talking about. And I also want to mention she is the host of the podcast, the NipTuck Talk Show. All right, so as we're going along today, please let us know if you're watching live or on replay, and let us know one takeaway, something you're really enjoying about this talk today. All right, I'm going to come back on camera, and Michele, please come on out.
Hello.
Thank you for coming on out, Michele.
Thank you so much, Cheryl, for having me. I love what you're doing, and I love your story. I really do. I love your backstory. And just for your audience, because I know it's 40 young, I'm 60 plus young. Just FYI.
Yes.
I'm celebrating being in my 60s, though I wasn't always celebrating it. I kind of kept it hidden for a while. And then I said, why am I keeping it hidden? I'm going to just celebrate it.
Yes, and I'm so glad you just shared that because this was the first year that I ever announced my age. For years, I hid my age. And this year I was like, all right, I'm just telling everyone. And a lot of people were like, what?
Well, I
So,
think that's something, I'm finding that more and more women over a certain age are starting to really embrace how old they are.
yes.
And it's not, I look back at my mother and I see what does she look like when she was in her 60s? And actually she looked very matronly. And then I look at myself and say, okay, no, I don't look matronly. I don't want to look matronly. There's a way to age gracefully with a little
Yes,
help, which we're going to talk about. And
yes.
I thought, you know what? Okay, I should embrace my age rather than, I know I'm not 40, I know I'm not 50, I'm in my 60s. And I'm loving being in my 60s.
Oh, I just love that. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that. All right. So, if you will, Michelle, introduce yourself again. Tell us your name and tell us what you do.
My name is Michele Garber, and I'm a plastic surgery coach. I work with people throughout their plastic surgery or aesthetic journey, helping them, guiding them through all the confusion that's out there to make sure that they're doing the right thing for them
Mhm.
from a self-loving perspective. I believe that aesthetic medicine should be a holistic approach, that it really is the mind, the body, and the spirit. It's not just the physical. It's not just about vanity. So I'm your guide. I'm your support system. I also do surgeon referrals, and I'm independent. I'm a patient advocate, and I really love that I'm about consumer advocacy and consumer safety because today, especially, it is the Wild West out there.
It is. It really is. And you're
Yes.
going to touch upon that later. And I know they're going to love this. Okay. So before we dive into the tips that you have for us today, this group is all about mindset. We love hearing each and every expert and when they share a challenge that they've overcome and how it led them to the career that they have today. So I know you have an amazing story that led you to be the coach that you are today. So could you share that with everyone?
Sure, Cheryl. I'm happy to share that. I've been in the aesthetic medical world for about 25, 30 years. I actually started off as a publicist. I had my own PR firm back on the East Coast, and I started that from scratch. My clients were a lot of aesthetic medical people. So I worked with doctors, plastic surgeons, integrated medical, dermatologists. And then in 2002, I followed my heart and I moved to California. I reunited with a high school sweetheart that I hadn't seen in 36 years. And so that's quite a story and journey unto itself.
Yes.
Yeah. And I decided at that time I was still doing PR, but I wasn't as connected as I was on the East Coast. So I got involved with in the back world scene of the beauty industry, so to speak, behind the scenes with skincare manufacturers, skincare products, and I worked with a lot of the surgeons. I worked with a lot of the surgeons on a different level, mainly in working with them with products and devices. And then I decided that it was time that I was ready for my own little nip tuck, so to speak, that I was ready for a facelift. And I thought I knew what I knew. And I was pretty sure I knew what I knew, but I found out I didn't know what I thought I knew. And I did have a surgery and I went down a deep rabbit hole and it was not pretty. And during that time, I had no support system. My husband was not supportive of what I was doing. He was actually kind of angry at and turned out in the end. And I didn't really discuss this with my girlfriends or my family members. And my surgeon and I had a falling out. Anyway, the story was that it was a really hard time for me. It was a very hard recovery as well. And a lot of things happened during the recovery process that I don't wish on anyone. And it was during that time that I thought to myself, wow, there's no one out there who's helping women or men that are pursuing any sort of aesthetic treatments. And meanwhile, I had had other things done in the past too, where I've had reactions and things didn't all go well. And it was at that moment, and it was kind of a whim, it was an aha moment that I thought, I am going to do this. I am going to start to coach people to make this journey more supportive, more well-informed, more educational,
Mhm.
and work with the surgeons on this as well. And that's how the NipTuck Coach was born. It was born out of my own needs or lack of that I was finding within the industry, and a big gap between patients and practices. And that's basically how I started doing what I'm doing. And that was back in 2012. And there was no plastic surgery coach in 2012. The doctors had no idea what I was doing. And it was quite a struggle, actually, in the very beginning, just to get the word out and just explain to people what in the world I was doing.
That's awesome, Michelle. I know that must have been hard when anyone is a pioneer coming up with an original idea. It's sometimes hard getting
Yeah,
to come over
yeah.
to your land.
And especially that I wasn't going to the doctors asking for referral fees. So that is huge. Now, I was working one-to-one as a coach with my clients, and I wasn't asking the doctors. And there are some people out there, and that's what they do. They get referral fees, which actually is illegal. But that really differentiates what I do, because I'm all about you. I
Right.
work for my clients. It's all about you. It's not about the doctors.
Wow. Wow. That's really good to know. Okay. So let's start. Let's just dive right in. Now, it's so cool that this is September is the Healthy Aging Month. So it's
Mhm.
only perfect that we talk about this today. Now, you're going to share with us some of the things that we might be seeing on social media. There's tons of skincare products and ads. And then there's also many times we go to Amazon and we see that maybe the same product is sold. So you had some advice for those that are looking into the lotions and potions and creams for the anti-aging industry?
Yes, the anti-aging industry is huge, and there are so many lotions and potions, and you can pay $300, $400, $500 just for a little bottle of skincare. And so I caution people when they're thinking about their skin. Well, first of all, the first line to every product or safety on your skin really needs to be a dermatologist. And I can't emphasize that enough, how important it is. If you think that you know your skin, you may not know your skin, because you could actually be doing more harm than good. So it's so important. If you don't have a dermatologist, go make an appointment, go see a dermatologist, or get a great esthetician who can evaluate your skin and tell you what are the products that would be good for you. And also you have to keep in mind where you live
Yes.
and the seasons, because that makes a difference too. If it's in the wintertime, your skin is going to have different needs than the summertime. And depending on where you live, and also if you're outdoors a lot, if you're in the sun, I mean, the first defense for anyone needs to be sunblock. You need to use sunblock just like you brush your teeth every morning. That sunblock should go on whether you're in the house all day long, doesn't matter, because the sun rays can come through your windows and in your car when you're driving. And if you notice, and I don't know about your everyone out there, but I know myself, my left side is more hyperpigmented with freckles and age spots than my right side.
Yeah.
And it's because of driving.
Yes.
It's because of the sun coming through.
And I typically like to drive with my right hand, and I notice I have more sunspots on my right hand and like nothing on my left because I live.
Yeah, yeah, see, yeah, that's really important. But if you're just thinking about products and going shopping, so you mentioned Amazon. I
Mhm.
know Amazon's great. I buy a ton of things on Amazon. You have to be careful though when it comes to buying skincare products on Amazon. There is a black market for skincare with even some of the well-known brands. Now, how are you going to know that you're getting the real thing? That's the issue. So I always advise, if you are going to buy products online, I caution you to buy them on Amazon unless the link is back to a reputable website. So there's certain reputable websites, like the Derm Store is one. Skincare RX is another one. I mean, there's many others, but those are the two that come to mind. And they do carry a lot of top brands, but they are reputable sites and they're carrying brands, not black market. They're actually carrying brands, and also these brands have current expirations. You're not buying a product that has expired, because that's the other thing you have to watch out for is expiration. Like I know that, for instance, TJ Maxx, I'm sure a lot of your viewers go shopping in TJ Maxx.
Sure.
And have you heard of Perricone?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. So Perricone is a very well-known brand, and he's done a lot of science with his products, and his products do have a lot of efficacy. TJ Maxx carries Perricone sometimes, but if you really look at the product closely, a lot of those products have expired.
Wow.
So even though, and the prices aren't that inexpensive, you're still paying maybe $50 for a bottle of Perricone.
Sure.
I wouldn't buy it at TJ Maxx.
Yeah.
You have to really be careful. Your best bet for buying products is either a store online that carries many different brands of skincare products, CVS, Rite Aid, Walgreens. They have great, you can buy some really good products in CVS that have dermatologist research behind them. L'Oreal, Oil of Olay, Neutrogena. I mean, those brands, they're inexpensive, but they actually happen to have science behind them. So they are efficacious, and they have research and dermatology backing behind them. So those brands are fine to buy online.
Okay.
I don't have, I mean, not online, in say CVS.
Yes.
Or yes, those are some really good products actually.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. That's good to know. So out of all those, what would be your favorite? If you had to go to CVS and pick like a particular line, or do you like mix and match?
Well, I think the first thing that's really important is, again, knowing your skin. And the age group of 40 now, disclaimer, I'm not a dermatologist and I'm not an esthetician, but a product that contains retinol. Now, whether you go to a dermatologist and get a prescription of Retin-a, that's one way. So Retin-a is a prescription vitamin A, and it's been around forever. And that is one of the ingredients that's time true again and again and again, anti-aging. Retin-a, retinol builds collagen and elastin. And that is really your first defense. You can be in your 20s and you should start using Retin-a. So if you're in your 40s or 50s, it's never too late to start, but the damage has already started, and you can help to not stop it, but you certainly can help correct it. So a product that has retinol is excellent to use, and there are different strengths. So it's important to start with a smaller strength if you've never used retinol before. And then you can start every other night or every night and see how your skin reacts. It may be a little red, or it could be a little itchy. So you have to kind of see, but stick with it. So like Oil of Olay, I believe, has a retinol product. I think even Neutrogena has a retinol product.
Yeah.
There are many products online that have retinol. I mean, there are some top brands that I like, you know, that are SkinCeuticals is a really good brand. IS Clinical, Image. I mean, I can give a whole list of brands. Now, these are not mass market brands, the ones that I'm just mentioning.
Yes.
Those are brands that you would get on Skincare RX or the Derm Store or on your dermatologist shelf.
Yes.
That's different than Oil of Olay or Neutrogena. But start with the retinol product at night. A really good sunblock. Neutrogena makes a good sunblock. La Roche-Posay makes a good sunblock. CVS
Yes.
and also an antioxidant like a vitamin C serum for during the day underneath your sunblock that helps actually boost up the protection from a sunblock. So
Yes.
you don't need, you honestly, you don't need a bunch of different skincare products to have great skin. You
I
need
love
the
it.
right products,
Yes. The right products. That
the
makes a
right
big difference.
products.
Yes.
Yes.
I love that. I love that. Okay. So for those of you who are listening, thank you so much for joining us. Please let us know where you're coming in from and let us know if you're watching live or on replay. So Michele, we had also talked about, now let's go to the next layer. For those that want to age gracefully, they can start with creams and so forth. But you had mentioned to me that there has been the increase, the Zoom boom. So tell us what has happened recently as far as the Zoom boom.
The Zoom boom, I love that. The marketing terms, the Zoom boom in plastic surgery, the post-pandemic Zoom boom. And what that is, you know, we are looking at ourselves a lot more, right?
Like
Especially
as in this right here,
yeah,
Zoom.
right.
Yeah.
And so what's happening is people are looking at themselves and they're seeing things that maybe they didn't really see before, or they don't like what they see. And so it's really easy to get caught up with, oh, I want a better jawline. Oh, I want fuller lips. Or, oh, I don't like the way my nose looks. Or look at the bags under my eyes. Or you various different things, right? And this has created what the plastic surgeons know as being a Zoom boom. And I just want to empathize here that it doesn't really, whether you choose to do something as maybe drastic in some people's mind as plastic surgery, you don't need to go always and having surgery just to get a little refreshed,
Right.
just to get a little bit rejuvenated. And I think that's really important to know, you know, aging gracefully with a little help and coming from a self-loving perspective. So if you're seeing things that you don't particularly like, look, not everyone can afford surgery. It's expensive.
Mhm.
And especially now with the Zoom boom, the doctors have raised their prices. But it's okay if you feel that you need a little boost.
Sure.
And if you need a little boost, there's other ways that you can get that. You can get a little Botox here and there. I mean, Botox is not just for your frown lines.
Mm-hmm.
Botox can soften your frowns. Botox can soften your crow's feet. Botox can soften the lines around your lips. Botox can change a little bit of your jawline. Botox can fix some of the platysmal bands in your neck. There's a lot of different ways that you can rejuvenate yourself. I just caution people when they're online and they're on Instagram, not so much Facebook, but more Instagram, and they see so much, and doctors saying all these things and all these videos. And it's so easy to say, okay, that's what I want. That's who I want to go to. But you don't know. You don't know how much is real. You don't know what's been photoshopped. You don't even know if this doctor that you see is board certified. So it's gotten really crazy out there. And I just caution people to sit back, use Instagram as your last resort for choosing any sort of aesthetic procedure. You first find the aesthetic procedure that you're interested in and define what is the look, what do you want, what is your goal, and kind of work backwards. Find the surgeon or find the dermatologist or find the esthetician through other research. And then you can go on Instagram and you can look at their page and you can see their photos but don't look at Instagram first, because you can go down a rabbit hole. And I know situations where people have chosen from Instagram and it has not turned out the way they wanted it. So you got to be really, really careful today in
Yeah.
how you choose any aesthetic procedure. And there's so much hype out there. And patient selection is the number one key. are you the right candidate for that procedure? And trust me, I've done a lot of different things to my face, and I've been bruised and scarred and pulled and lumped and plumped. And so I know,
Uh,
I know.
yes, yes. It's, it's so true. These are different times. You go on social media and you can just scroll for minutes, if not hours, on, especially if you've liked one doctor, click the like button or follow them, then the algorithm sends you more of these types of things. So then you could be, just spinning your wheels for hours looking at all these different things. So you would, yeah, and that could, like you said, it could go down a slippery slope, and it's always better to, find the correct doctor. Now, you had mentioned something to me that I was not aware of. So tell me a little bit about, when picking a surgeon, what's the difference between the cosmetic and the plastic surgeon?
This is really interesting because I don't think a lot of people know this. So all plastic surgeons, their training, they are also cosmetic surgeons. So plastic surgeons have been trained in body trauma. I mean, when you think about it, right? Plastic surgery, if someone's, God forbid, in a car accident, has facial deformities, they get it fixed by a plastic surgeon. That is who is going to correct that. Cosmetic surgeons are not all plastic surgeons. So cosmetic surgeons don't have the same training as a plastic surgeon. And in fact, the boards and the certifications are different for a plastic surgeon and a cosmetic surgeon. The American Medical Association doesn't even really recognize cosmetic surgery as a medical board like the plastic surgeons. So a lot of cosmetic surgeons, so it's intertwined today. So a plastic surgeon who does cosmetic surgery will sometimes use terminology on their website, cosmetic surgery, but you need to read their CV and you'll see that they're plastic surgeons. And then there are facial plastic surgeons. And facial plastic surgeons are plastic surgeons. And also most facial plastic surgeons are double board certified as otolaryngologists. Now that took me a long time to learn how to say, but they're ENT doctors.
Okay.
Okay. So if you go online and you read the surgeon is double board certified as an otolaryngologist and plastic surgeon or facial plastic surgeon, that means that he or she's been trained from the neck up. Mm-hmm. Most facial plastic surgeons, except for some in LA, only do face up. That's all they do. They don't do body work. Okay. That's the difference. They're the ones that specialize in rhinoplasty, nose jobs. They're the ones that specialize in facelifts. Some of them do otoplasty. They correct ears. So that's the surgeon that works on the face. A plastic surgeon will work on all body parts. And there are a lot of plastic surgeons today that will work on the face and the body. I always think it's really important to find the surgeon who specializes and whose core specialty is in that area of surgery that you're wanting to have. So if you're looking for someone that specializes in breast augmentation, you want to make sure that the bulk of his surgeries are in breast augmentation or face or body contouring, whatever it is, because I really believe you cannot be everything for everyone, and you can't be good. You can be an excellent, excellent surgeon, but there's that one body part that you love to work on. And I know this from speaking to surgeons over the years who'll say, I love doing boob jobs. And I love doing boob jobs because when I do it, my patients are happy right away. They see the result.
Right.
Facelift surgeons, their patients aren't happy right away because they're swollen and bruised and stitched up, and they look a little bit scary right after surgery. So it's different having a facelift than having breast augmentation. So going back to what you said about choosing a surgeon, understand the surgeon's background. Really understand that before you make a decision. And all surgeons should have their CV online, or you can look them up many different ways. I like to work with surgeons that are specialized in a particular area, but it's getting harder and harder to find those surgeons. And be careful, because there are doctors on Instagram that are not board certified, and you won't know that. So you must go to a board certified surgeon. The other point I want to make is that any medical doctor with a medical degree can do any type of surgery. And this is really important to know, because that's a scary thing. Think about it. Your gynecologist legally can give you a tummy tuck.
Wow.
Or a breast aug, legally. And I don't think people understand that. They don't realize that. I mean, that is the law. They're a medical doctor. They've got a medical degree. And there's a lot of general surgeons that have no training in plastic surgery or cosmetic surgery that all of a sudden jump into it as well, because they're general surgeons. And a lot of general surgeons want to get into aesthetic medicine. Look, it's a cash cow.
Right. Yeah.
It's not insurance, though. I mean, some surgeries you can still, rhinoplasty, you can get insurance to pay for it. Breast, if you have a breast reduction, depending on the situation, insurance may cover some of it. So there are situations where insurance will cover some of it, but not the cosmetic part of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, okay. So as we mentioned at the top of the show, this group is about mindset, and we want to reiterate this talk today is not about the encouragement of going out there and changing the way we look. But if one should want to, they really need to do their research, be careful of social media, and they need to look for someone like yourself that can help them navigate down the right path. So tell us a little bit about what you do, how, because the word NipTuck Coach is new, like you invented it, you're the pioneer. So for someone, and also, you know, you had said this too, we only have one body, one face. And, you know, as the years go by, we really need to be careful, no matter what age, but we really need to be careful and make wise choices. So tell us about how someone is benefited by working with someone like yourself.
Thank you, Cheryl, for that question. Well, the first thing I think it's really important, and I think I mentioned this in the beginning, is I look at aesthetics from a holistic approach. And what that means is it's not just about the surgeon selection. It's not just about the surgery. It's about you, your aesthetic goal, to make sure that you understand what it is that you're hoping to do, or what is it that you want to look like. And so it's real important that I go through that with my clients. Sometimes clients would come up with concept photos. No, you're not Angelina Jolie. I get that. We don't expect you to be Angelina Jolie. It's not that. It's about the concept. It's about, I like this nose, or I like this jawline, or I like this breast. And it's understanding, who do you look like? Because some of my clients that I work with, they'll say to me, I don't want to look like I had a facelift. I just want to look refreshed. Well, then we talk about, what does that mean? And then I know the right surgeon to refer them to. Or I may have a client, and I have a client right now who said to me, I want to look like I had a facelift. And this surprised me because this client, I would never have thought in a million years she'd wanted a facelift, because that's just not who she is on the outside.
Mhm.
And yet it was really clear she was able to articulate. And so that was very clear to me. I knew the surgeons that I could refer her to that's going to give her that look. But that may not be the right surgeon for someone like yourself.
Mhm.
Maybe that's not your goal. So we spend a lot of time, and not only that, we spend a lot of time to make sure that you're doing this for the right reasons, that you really have an understanding that this is serious. This
Yes.
is medicine. This is serious. A lot can happen, a lot can go right, and a lot can go wrong. And my goal is to make sure that it all goes right. And my clients, they call me sometimes freaking out, and they're really anxious, especially before surgery. And I work with them and talk with them, and I bring them down a notch.
Yes.
So it's not only establishing what it is and how you want to look and what surgeon feels right, but we also go through all the nutritional aspect. I have a little bit of a functional nutritional background. I'm studying to get certified, so I'll be able to help my clients even more. But the nutritional part of planning for surgery is key. It is so important to the best outcome. So we go through the mind and we go through the body of making sure that you're prepared physically and you get the right tests and you're taking the right supplements. And then I'm there supporting you through that decision of what surgeon to choose. I can't make the final decision for you, but we evaluate the consults after you have them. We go through the prices. We talk about some of the gimmicks and the terms and make sure that in the end, you're getting what you want, the proper guidance, the proper nutrition. And then I work with my clients through the surgery. So we work up until that point. And then after the surgeries, also my clients will video me, and I'll sometimes talk them off the ledge again over, because now they're healing. And I do aftercare locally in the Bay Area. Sometimes, depending on the case, I will take care of my clients. But I give you everything that you possibly could need and more. Concierge services. I arrange everything if you need it. I even arrange for some of the medical records to be sent to the doctors instead of consults and travel if you need all that. So whatever it is, because I just want you to sit back and enjoy this time for you and pamper you, and all the little mundane stuff that you don't have to do, including post-op kits, I can do for you.
Wow.
And so it's a complete package, I guess, for lack of a better word.
It really is. And I've never heard of this before. So Michele, kudos to you. What a great concept, what a great idea. And, if anyone's really considering something like this, they do need some hand holding and they need the proper guidance. So I really love what you're offering to people. And I love that you talk about the mindset and the nutrition. That's so, so crucial for any big decision.
Yes. And that is one of the areas that the medical practices and aesthetics still are lacking. Like, they don't really have that piece together. They just send you home with some instructions, but they don't talk about the nutrition and they don't talk about healing. Because if you prepare yourself before surgery, any surgery, I'm not even just talking about cosmetic surgery, any surgery, if you prepare yourself properly, you're going to have a much easier time healing. And we have to remember that we are still, we're not in our 20s anymore. And so our body has different needs too than when we were younger, when we're thinking about surgery. So I think that's important to keep in mind. Yeah.
So true. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Well, our goal of 30 minutes flew by 15 minutes ago.
Yes.
I could talk to you all day long. Okay, so let's go ahead and wrap this up. I'm going to show slides, and when we come back, you can share any last closing statements. So everyone, thank you, Michele, so much for being here. We really, really appreciate this talk. You've been very, very informative, things that I've never known to look for. So for those of you who want to get in touch with Michele, you can go to niptuckcoach.com, or you can go to Instagram, NipTuck Coach, right there. And she's going to be giving all of us an ebook if you're interested. It's called Be Beautiful, Not Botched. And the link to that will be down in the comments. And for those of you who might forget these website listings right here, you can always go to CherylBroughton.com/guest. And that is where I have a running total of all the different guests that have been here throughout the summer. And yeah, and then for those of you who would like a copy of my book, you can go to CherylBroughton.com or go to Amazon, and you can get the printed or the digital version. And again, thank you everyone for watching. Thank you so much for being here. If you will, please let us know if you're watching live or on replay. And if you will, drop a comment down below. Let us know one takeaway, something you really enjoyed about what Michele had to say, because she has been a wealth of information today. And I know I got a lot from today. All right, so Michele, any last closing statements before we say goodbye?
Well, I want to thank you very much, Cheryl, for having me. I enjoy this very much. And my last closing statement, I guess, would be you only have one face and one body. Choose wisely.
Awesome. I love it. And I will sign off by doing my normal sign off. And that is, everyone, please remember, it's never too late for your epic encore. Take care, everyone. Have a great weekend.
Thank you so much, Cheryl. Have a great weekend.
You too.
Bye-bye.